On October 9th, 1849, the New York Tribune published the obituary of American author Edgar Allan Poe, who had died 2 days earlier.
Edgar Allan Poe is dead. He died in Baltimore the day before yesterday. This announcement will startle many, but few will be grieved by it. The poet was well known personally or by reputation in all this country. He had readers in England and in several states of continental Europe, but he had few or no friends. The regrets for his death will be suggested principally by the consideration that in him literary art lost one of its most brilliant but erratic stars.
This year, the literary world celebrates the bicentennial of a complex and tortured genius. He was a scholar, a soldier, a poet, and a critic. He mastered the art of the short story. He took enormous risks and suffered many failures. He was loved by some, despised by others, and inspired many. I'm James Rana, inviting you to join me for Poe, A Celebration. Edgar Allan Poe was born Edgar Poe on January 19, 1809, in Boston, Massachusetts, to actors Elizabeth Arnold Hopkins Poe and David Poe Jr. He was named after Shakespeare's tragic hero in King Lear, a play his parents were appearing in that year. In 1810, David Poe abandoned his family. 1 year later, Elizabeth died from tuberculosis. Edgar was taken into the affluent Virginia foster home of John and Frances Allen. Following early education in Great Britain, Poe attended the University of Virginia in 1826 and suffered great hardships. Professor Chester Schnepf.
The president of that time of University of Virginia was none other than Thomas Jefferson, president of the United States. It was a rough and tumble place. There were fistfights, there were shootings, there were very well-to-do students who gambled and drank. Poe is sent there with no money to speak of, not even to buy textbooks. He ends up burning the furniture in his apartment on campus to stay warm. He then has to leave because he runs into gambling debts from playing cards to try to raise money.
To escape his enormous debts, Poe enlisted in the United States Army on May 27, 1827, under the name Edgar A. Perry. Chester Schnepf.
The Cask of Amontillado really developed from Poe being in the Army. He was stationed at Fort Independence at Castle Island, right in the harbor of Boston, and he noticed that there was a plaque to a young lieutenant who was deceased, a Lieutenant Massey. He snooped around and he found out that Massey had been killed in a sword fight by a Captain Green who basically hated Southerners and had done in other Southern U.S. officers. They would duel at this time. If you had an argument or if someone accused you of cheating at cards, which was the case with this poor Lieutenant Massey who did not cheat at cards, Green would then take them out and duel with them and kill them. What happens, interesting enough, is Lieutenant Massey was loved by all the other officers at this U.S. fort in Boston Harbor. They then plotted against Captain Green. They got him drunk, took him down to the dungeons in the fort, and sealed him up alive behind a wall. He was not discovered until 1905 when architects were working on the fort. It became a tourist attraction, and where there was supposed to be an opening, there was a makeshift wall. Lo and behold, they open up the wall, and there's the skeleton of Captain Green, who is listed as a deserter all this time because he just disappeared from roll call.
At the most remote end of the crypt, there appeared another, less spacious. Its walls had been lined with human remains, piled to the vault overhead in the fashion of the great catacombs of Paris.
Poe made an agreement with the commandant that he would not reveal what had happened at the fort. It would bring disgrace on the U.S. Army. So what does Poe do? He sets it in Europe, and he has it among wine merchants.
In just 2 short years of military service, Poe was promoted to the rank of sergeant major for artillery. In 1829, he published a book of poems, Al-Araf, Tamerlane, and other poems.
We grew in age and love together, roaming the forest and the wild, my breast her shield in the wintry weather, and when the friendly sunshine smiled and she would mark the opening skies, I saw no heaven, but in her eyes.
That same year, Poe was discharged from the Army to begin advanced training at West Point Military Academy, but once again fell on hard times.
He then is able to, through other people in his family and friends, and with some of the help from John Allan, go to West Point. But there again, he's sent to West Point without any money. At this time, you had to buy your own books. You had to pretty much take care of yourself. And John Allan once again sets him up for failure. And so Poe has to leave West Point. A lot has to do with the fact that he could not even afford to buy mathematical instruments to use in his class. He could not buy textbooks. He begged John Allan to support him once he was at West Point, and Edgar Allan Poe actually had to contrive his own dismissal. He actually did not go to certain military events that he was expected to go to in order to get discharged. The reason why I've read is that he couldn't function there without any support, economic support, and so once again John Allan does him in.
Edgar Allan Poe was the first American writer who attempted to earn his entire living as a published author, a risk that would plague him financially for the rest of his life. He resided in Baltimore, Philadelphia, and New York City, contributing countless short stories, poems, essays, and scathing critical reviews from magazines such as The Saturday Visitor, The Southern Literary Messenger, Graham's Magazine, and Burton's Gentleman's Magazine. Howard Rose.
Edgar Allan Poe also did a treatise on autography, which is the interpretation of personalities and other miscellaneous information regarding a person based upon their signature. He would look at the handwriting and give his opinion. One, for example, is on Washington Irving, and I'll quote,
"The manuscript of Mr. Irving has little about it indicative of his genius. Certainly no one could suspect from it any nice finish in the writer's compositions, nor is this nice finish to be found."
Now, in reading his letters about autography, my initial opinion was that he is nasty, critical, and mean-spirited in most people that he discusses. I found, though, that there are a number of people for whom he's laudatory. He compliments them. But I have found that when he is referencing people for whom there may be something in it for him, such as Mr. Godet, who was responsible to the literary world for his production publishing the Ladies' Book, which is a magazine for which he might be able to get work, he was very complimentary. So I guess he knew he did not bite the hand that fed him.
He had, to a morbid excess, that desire to rise which is vulgarly called ambition, but no wish for the esteem or the love of his species, only the hard wish to succeed, not shine, not serve, but succeed, that he might have the right to despise a world which galled his self-conceit.